you have long pieces. Like
Yes.
that's why we kind of have to fade out all the time.
Okay,
Um,
I got you.
I wonder, do you know what's gonna happen in a minute when you're playing,
Usually.
or 10 seconds, or like 5 minutes? What's the thing with that? How do you plan your compositions, or like?
Okay. Yeah, yeah, that's a great question because that's what you know, um Ahmet, mindfulness is very important for me. Mindfulness is very important in this music because if a person is mindful, a person is attentive, and a person is awake. I mean, you can just float through consciousness and just be asleep. But basically, what I'm trying to do, especially when I play music, that's one reason why when I do play, I have to get a lot of rest before I play.
Mhm.
I usually have to sleep like an hour or so that when I do wake up, I'm really thoroughly conscious of what's going on musically. I don't just like to. I don't approach any performance feeling as if I'm going to go in there and I'm going to play licks or I'm going to just have a give and take with the other musicians in that sense. I'm really seriously thinking about attention. It's almost like in Zen when you're meditating and somebody walks up to you and they take a stick and they hit you in the back of the head to wake you up and you've been up since 5 o'clock in the morning. That's the kind of a thing that it is. And usually I'm awake. I'm very awake.
So you say it's between being really present and
Yes.
also not being that because you're in a different state of mind. And
Yeah, exactly. Being really present. That's a very good way to put it. That's the best way to put it. That's what it means. Yeah.
um, about another topic, I wonder how the about I'm gonna ask about the scene you're in here and generally the avant-garde music scene.
The scene?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If I
So
can tell you anything about it.
yeah. Is it? I wonder if it's because we know the supply is more than the demand,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
You could say that about like avant-garde music. Yeah.
About jazz in
Yeah,
general.
about jazz in
Yeah, it's
general.
like 1% of all the music.
I wonder
That's
how that reflects to your like relations with your colleagues. Like, is everybody more helpful or more competitive? Like
well,
looking into each other.
well. Speaking again for myself, I try to bring in those people that I feel can make the circle that I speak of make the circle work. If people enter the circle and their ulterior motives, their motives are are destructive or they're ego based, I think it's pretty evident. It's pretty evident why a person is at a particular place and time. And because we're not dealing with stupid men and women here. We're dealing with people that have been all like out here hustling, struggling. Yeah, but you use it for what it is. You use it for what it is. That doesn't mean that everybody that I play with, it has to be what's the word? Generous, you know, or giving or helpful. But I do appreciate those people a lot. And those are usually the people that I find myself gravitating toward because I feel like they're a little bit more authentic for me. I'm not sitting there talking to them about career moves. You know, so usually what I've encountered, that's another thing about my luck that I've had. That's been really good. I really haven't come across that many people that are like that. So that just makes the task of getting the music together that much easier because that's hard enough task as it is. Separate from what people's personality things are about, and their drama and all that. So so you try to find out what the scene is about, but basically I just try to go to those things that I think are important to me for my growth and for my own health about loving music, and that's it. So I try not to judge. I try not to judge that because I don't know what somebody else is going through, So I try not to judge that, even though somebody else may come at it like hardcore. I'm good with that. I'm okay. Not that I want to be around it all the time, but I'm okay with it. Um, I don't really participate in those kind of actions a lot.
All right. Reminding the listener, we're with William Hooker in the studio, and he's been generous to come and have an interview. This is Profile Shows, and you listen to WKCR FM New York. I'm kind of going all over the place with my
Great,
questions, but
great. I just hope I'm up to the task.
I wonder how about the scene again, or about generally avant-garde music. Do you think this shift in music and means of downloading and music becoming available to people in illegal, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think it hit your music worse than the mainstream music, or were you better off? Like, were you better off meaning like compared to mainstream musicians? How what kind of a change did that make in that in?
Well, for me, it was a source of sadness that I used to go into record stores and I would see this big long section that said William Hooker on it because I knew that the music was available to whoever wanted to go there. Um, uh, and now I'm seeing that availability has changed. I think that I'm in the middle of something that is not necessarily good, and not necessarily good for my music in particular, um, because I don't know who out there has it and who out there has access to the technology that it takes to get the music out there to people. But I do know that if you look on my website, if my website is not known, nobody's going to know that these new records are out. They're not going to know it. And I think that the one thing that I've got to say that the Knitting Factory provided, the Knitting Factory at that time, and other places as well. I've got to say, the new business, the records that are on now out now. Uh, I have a relationship with whoever it is that's running it, so I can be okay with whatever struggles that person has to put up with because at least they're upfront and they're honest with me about what's happening. So, and I don't feel that bad. I don't feel that bad about people that bootleg stuff. I just have not learned yet how to be able to deal with CD Baby and all that. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out because I think that all of these records that I have all the masters to, all these records are gonna be back out again very very soon, and people will be able to get them. And that's kind of what I'm really concerned about. This whole transition, you know what I mean? So if somebody is like bootlegging stuff, that's on them. But in the meantime, I'm going to try and take the things that I have the rights to, put them out with the original artwork, and I'm going to make an effort to get that back out to the people. So that's my take on it.
Cool. You want to talk about the record that's coming out?
Well, yeah, might as well. Uh, I had the joy of going to San Francisco many many times. Uh, my son lives there, and I live there. My wife and I live there, and that's one of my second major cities I love. It's just beautiful. It is a beautiful place. I'll tell you, it really is. And the situation that I've encountered is that I've met a lot of really excellent musicians from there, and I have a lot of friends that are still there. So it surprised them when William Hooker got a gig to play at Yoshi's in San Francisco, and they gave me actually like this is interesting. They gave me 6 days to do that gig. They had booked everybody else up, and Sheila E. You know who Sheila E. is? Sheila E. She was a person that was under Prince. Prince, Prince.
Oh, yeah.
Like Prince. Right then, and then she canceled, and the guy said, "I have a night for you." I said, "Oh, really?" He says, "Yeah, you got 5 days." So, I realized at that point the ball was in my court. So, I just started I went kind of crazy. I went kind of berserk, and everybody around me went kind of berserk. So for a 6 day notice to play in this place, which is really basically a palace, it really is. I mean, you've seen it. I mean, it's yeah, this place is nice, right? We had a paying audience of 125 people, and all those people stayed. And they jammed to the music afterward, and they all ate and drank, and they all had a good time. And they were younger people, because the night before I went there, and it was a full house. It was a full house for this local singer, I guess. And everybody in the place, they were like asleep. They were sleeping, literally, like nodding out. I'm like, what is this? So I realized that it's a thin line between having a full house of sleeping people and having 125 paying guests that, after you finish playing, you have a standing ovation in the middle of Yoshi's, and that's what's going to be coming out. And I don't know. It was a great gig. It was a great gig, and it should be out beginning of next year or middle of next year. I'm not sure, but I'm working on it.
You recently have this out, right?
Yeah, that's going to be coming out too.
Which
that's
is it's not
no, not yet.
released yet.
Not
Okay.
yet. Not released
Maybe
yet.
we'll play it.
Okay.
The William Hooker group.
Yeah.
It's Do you wanna?
Well. Oh yeah, we don't have that much time, huh?
Yeah.
All right then. Good. How long is it?
Oh, there's 2 songs, 5 minutes each.
All right.
You should know better.
This is what I'm thinking. Yeah. Well.
I
gotcha.
I got Bouquet lined up.
You do.
And Seasons Fire, but
well, there's a couple of things that I wanted to tell you about. One of them is the fact that on here, on tracks 4 to 7, is myself with the incredible violinist Jason Wong.
You're talking about Black Mask.
Black Mask, yes. Yeah. And Jason was a part of a group called The Gift, but now The Gift has changed, and The Gift will be performing at BAM in February. And The Gift is myself, Roy Campbell, Kyoko Kitamura, and on tenor and reeds will be Mixashon. People in this music know who Mixashon is probably. And then on the 21st, I'm playing with J.D. Perrin in a duo. And so we won't get a chance to get to this, but because there's so many people on it. But this one here, it's a 7-inch. It's a 7-inch. It's kind of a quirky piece, and I think that people will enjoy. It's like a collector's item actually, just like the ones that you have now, Earth's Orbit. It's a double vinyl, and Thomas Chapin, that's a vinyl, double vinyl. This one is a 7-inch vinyl, and I think that people will like it when they hear it.
All right, we'll play that next. Well, there's so much I want to talk with you, but we're running short of time. Do you wanna talk about your poetry or perform one? Are you in the mood or not?
Let me see. It's so long. It's long. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Once you get me started, it's like reading Ulysses. It gets out there. No, I think we'll hold that for another time.
All right, all
Or
right.
yeah, or else we could hold it for putting it on YouTube. Man, that might work.
Yeah.
All right, we'll just do something together, and yeah,
So what's your online site that people can reach to your discography and
WilliamHooker.com.
WilliamHooker.com.
Yeah, it has poetry on it. It has painting. It has live music. It has where I'm going to be playing. It has you can get T-shirts. What else? I'm trying to think of what else is on it. Live performances,
Is
called
there
sound check. Interviews, yeah, interviews. Most of the interviews are kind of older though. But because the major interview I gave you, which is like an opus written by Thomas Stanley, that one is not on there. Not on, but there is one that goes with a CD. And basically, I'm just really in the middle of right now trying to put together a project that I think is going to really have me come full circle with myself. That's the first thing. And I think that as long as I can continue doing what I'm doing, as well as dealing with film, because I'd like to do the next Oscar Michaud film, which is Body and Soul, which also features Paul Robeson. Um, I don't know. The future just looks bright. The future looks bright. It's just a matter of getting it out there. Like you were saying, it's a matter of getting it out there.
Get it out there with
Yeah, you know what I mean? Getting the word out there. Because that takes time. That takes time. It really does. It takes time and energy. So, along the way, though, I'm meeting great people, and I'm having a good time.
Cool. So it's William Hooker in the WKCR studios. We're coming to the end of the Profiles show. And what do you want to end with? I want to play this, and there's time for a little bit more.
All right, then. Well, let's do what you had in mind. Let's do what you had in mind.
Okay, let's
that and the other one.
All right.
Yeah.
So first we'll hear part four from Bouquet, which is Christian Marclay on turntables, Lee Ronaldo on guitar, small devices and bells, William Hooker on traps, released by Knitting Factory 2001, recorded live from 99. We'll hear part 4, and we'll hear Vulnerability from the new William Hooker group 7-inch that's going to be released soon.
Right.
From Knitting live at Knitting Factory.
Right.
So William, once again, thanks for joining me. It was a pleasure.
Ahmet, thank you. Really, thank you. You know, it's always nice to come up here and meet new friends. I'll put it this way. You know, we're friends for life.
Yeah, definitely.
Most of the people I know up here were friends for life. I'm telling you, it works. KCR is like that. I don't get it. It's a beautiful place. You know, it really is. And I hope that a lot of people really contribute to the station and support the station, because this is one of the few places that I know supports us. Really, I really believe that. You know, and no corniness about it. Thank you, man.
All right, no problem. Thanks for joining me again. So here's Bouquet and then the William Hooker group. You listen to WKCR FM New York, the last bit of William Hooker music that you're going to hear this afternoon. Stay tuned.